वीडियो बना दूं?
for anybody making under $250,000. So I think from a public policy standpoint tonight, this was a distressing debate in which people locked themselves in unnecessary.
क्या हो रहा है भाई?
Candy, I want to play just
क्या हो रहा है बेटा?
the sequence that David was talking about specific
हंस रही हो?
taxes.
हंसी, मुस्कुराई, पाँव तो देखो। हाँ, हॉबिट फीट। खदीजा का हॉबिट फीट है। हाँ? फ्रूडो बैगन्स। छोटी सी मेरी फ्रूडो बैगन्स है ये। फ्रूडो बैगन्स है या बिल्बो बैगन्स है? फ्रूडो बैगन्स है ना? Oh, Hobbit feet, Hobbit feet.
First candidate in this race to specifically say, I would cut their taxes.
I mean, they did then go on, Candy, to talk about the possibility of raising capital gains taxes and plenty of people own stocks in this country, and so maybe those
क्या सुन रही हो बेटा?
people, under that
ओबामा और आंटी हिलरी की डिबेट हुई थी ना?
I think it plays very well in the primary. I think the problem's going to be when they get to a general election, whichever one gets there. You will see the Republicans and John McCain going after, particularly, I think, on Iraq. He will talk again about the calamity that would happen if you pull troops out. I think they will talk about no new taxes. As far as we know, John McCain, being a Republican, is also for
कुछ करो यार, कुछ बैठो शैठो जैसा बैठती हो।
For Clinton and Obama may be the definition of middle class, but I agree with David that they really boxed themselves in. All I could think of while listening to this was George Bush 41 and that no new taxes, read my lips statement, which pretty much cost him the re-election.
Mark, was this the first time they've made that pledge, or is this the kind of stuff they've been saying on the stump for the last couple of days?
Well, in the case of the taxes, I don't believe that they've ever either of them has been as explicit as they were asked to be tonight. And on Iraq, their spokespeople had gone further than they have in both cases for being very emphatic about withdrawal from Iraq. I agree with both Candy and David that in the case of the general election, I think their Iraq statement.
खतीजा को foot fetish है, foot fetish, fetish, fetus जो भी कहते हैं हाँ.
Potentially excruciating choices on those two big issues. If circumstances are changed, when they've got to go back on a very clear pledge on Iraq, and then again on the question of whether taxes would be raised on people making less than $250,000.
And David, once you
अम्मी को ये कपड़ा बहुत पसंद है ना खतीजा का, खाली ये पहनाती है। छोटा आदमी लगती है खतीजा पहन के।
I must say, once again, I think Senator Clinton was more rigid on that question. Absolutely. In fact, almost every time any public policy came up tonight, she said, this is what I will do, period, end of sentence. She didn't let herself no wiggle room. Barack Obama at least said, listen, this is the mission, I'm going to change the mission, but of course I'm going to listen to the commanders on the ground about tactics. That gives him some flexibility about sort of what how it would actually be done over what period of time. It may well be he'll have a different general on the ground.
चलो मैं यहाँ से जाता हूँ, देखते हैं कि तुम किस तरीके से रिएक्ट करती हो।
George W. Bush's term, but after the election, there's a very good chance that General Petraeus will be reassigned.
I also wonder, David, if they end up looking sort of anti-military by, basically kind of casting aside what generals on the ground are talking about.
I think that's a very good point, because the head of the Joint Chiefs and others, it's very, very important that a president be in a dialogue with military commanders. Of course, the president is the commander-in-chief, but they are the experts. They do understand and have a very good understanding on the ground of what might happen. And I just cannot imagine if you're president and you think the whole thing is going to cave in on you, if you make that decision, you wouldn't find some way to see if you couldn't lengthen it out a little bit. That's not to say there's going to be another extension of George W. Bush. Bush is for an open-ended commitment. Both of these people want to shut this thing down. That is a change of direction. But to lock themselves in on policy this way, I find to be very surprising, just as Candy and we've all said here.
It's getting to be the silly season, I guess, as people say this time in the campaign. We're going to have more with our panel after the break. We're going to look at questions about Senator Obama's patriotism. We've heard those tonight. Were they fair? Fair or not? How did he handle
मैं छुप गया हूँ तो हरकतें कर रही हैं। कैमरा मालूम है कहाँ पर है लेकिन। खतीजा
What's that? Those are my freight shipments. Where? Exactly. I can't see them. Well, here. What's this?
That is UPS Freight. You can try. UPS Freight. Your shipments are a lot more visible because you can track them
भतीजा अब आ गए।
Larry King tomorrow night. The state wants the kids from the Rated Ranch. Their parents are fighting to keep them. Texas Courtroom Showdown. Larry King Live. CNN tomorrow night, 9 Eastern.
We're blogging tonight on this and other stories, including our next one inside the Political of a Second. We're going to tell you about that